I think most Bulls fans right now could confidently say they know 4 of the 5 who will be in Billy's starting lineup night 1 on that first jump ball. The still unsigned Josh Giddey, he will get signed in some capacity, whether it be qualifying offer or a multi-year deal where they find a compromise. He'll be here. Alongside him in that backcourt will be Coby White, who the Bulls love and want to keep and just used prominently in their regular season schedule rollout and their new pinstripe rollout and all that stuff. Kobe's here. Kobe's going to be here. Modest Buzelis, sophomore season in the NBA, strong finish to his rookie year, all rookie second team. Sky's the limit. Bulls fans fingered crossed that he is the franchise. And 35-year-old, wily vet, reliable old man Vooch entering the final year of his contract as your starting center. All of the questions are pointed at who's that 5th starter.
So I think the big question is at the 3. And there are plenty of options. Even just looking at the roster from last year, I mean, Lonzo started 14 games. He's obviously gone. But, like, when he ramped up and when he was healthy, he was starting. Patrick Williams started 36 games. A lot of that was at the 4 before games. Modest transitioned into that role.
36 wasted starts.
But he played a lot of games and started a good amount of them. Trey Jones started 9 of his 18 games. He obviously just re-signed and figures to be like, I mean, anytime a team like re-signs a guy for an extended period, you are investing in him. And when you're investing in him, you're like you're
planning on playing him and him having a significant role.
Especially when it's re-signing a guy. Like when you're going out there and signing a free agent, you don't know how it's going to necessarily play out. We saw this with Jalen Smith. We saw it with Javon Carter, where like those guys just didn't really live up to the contracts that Arturas probably thought he was signing them to. But we know what Trey Jones looks like when he's healthy and with the Bulls, and we know how much Billy values him and what he brings to the table. You have Kevin Huerter, who started 16 of his 26 games with the Bulls and was playing some of his best basketball down the stretch. You have Ayo Dosunmu, who started 26 of his 46 games. And we know Billy is like somebody who's not afraid to go with 3 guards.
True. Somebody just mentioned that in the chat.
And we know
French Bulls fan.
And we know how many guards are on this roster right now. Assuming Giddey's back, you have Coby, Giddey, Ayo, Trey Jones. We didn't even mention Isaac Okoro, who I think of as a 2. And somebody that could certainly be in the mix for this role. You don't trade Lonzo for a guy that you don't plan on playing. So this team is actually much deeper, I think, than most people realize. The guys who are not going to get minutes or are going to be towards the back end of this rotation are also guys that started a handful of games last year and played a lot. I mean, Dalen Terry, 5 starts, 73 games played, 13.5 minutes per game. Julian Phillips, 5 starts and 79 games played, 14 minutes per game. Taylor Horton-Tucker played 58 games, 12 minutes per game. So there's a lot of bodies on this roster. Billy is going to have to consolidate a little bit here, and I think that's why the 3 is interesting. And I think we can kind of isolate it down to a handful of names. I would say the most likely ones, Huerter, Okoro, but I also think you need to throw Ayo and Trey Jones in there. Mm-hmm. Would you agree that those are kind of like the 4 options at the starting 3? And obviously maybe Giddey is like technically the 3 if you start Trey Jones or Ayo out there. Like
right.
You massage all that stuff, but like in terms of the backcourt, the 1, 2, and 3, I would say Giddey, Coby, and then either Huerter, Ayo, Trey Jones, or Okoro.
I think those are the 4. I think most people think it'll come down to either Huerter or Okoro for various reasons and what they each could bring to a starting unit. And I think because of the Billy Donovan being enamored with 3-guard lineups thing, it's also possible that you could throw in Ayo and to a similar extent Trey Jones as more dark horse candidates to earn that 5th and final starting spot.
I don't think that this will happen. I'm nearly positive it won't happen to start the season, but maybe towards the back end of the season. Noah Senke could get some minutes there. I'm not saying I expect it or that I anticipate it, but if this season looks at all like last season did, it would not surprise me if you're seeing Modest and Noah out there together at least for a small portion of the season, depending on how things go.
I keep thinking about AK saying in that interview when he was out in Vegas for Summer League about establishing this team's defensive identity And that's why they traded Lonzo Ball. And what they wanted in return for Lonzo Ball was Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro. To me, it's pretty bold to make that trade without having already convinced Billy Donovan, your head coach, who got an extension, you just yourself got an extension, you guys have time to map out your plans. Here are your big grand plans. Put the big map on the big table, Game of Thrones style. Isaac Okoro is a big piece in that plan. If you make that trade, he has to be.
Would it surprise me at all if Isaac Okoro is the starter? No. I think he's probably one of the better defenders on this team, if not the best on the perimeter at this point. Ayo will certainly have something to say about that. But I think he's like a totally valid option there. My question is, though, is like we also saw Billy just not be willing to play guys if they're not being guarded out there. Mm-hmm. And so Okoro shot 37% on threes last year. He's improved every year. I think he's going to probably look a lot better in the Bulls offense than in the Cavs offense, which is more half-court oriented, which is two bigs, and like the floor spacing is a little bit harder to manage. So I think the transition and the tempo and all that stuff will benefit Okoro, and I assume he'll get some run out there with that lineup. But Billy's not going to like mess around and just like play whoever the front office like just invested in most recently. Like he's going to play the guy who gives him the best chance to win. And I think the guys that he's most confident in of that group are Ayo, Kevin Huerter, and Tre Jones. Now that could change. The only reason I say that is because we don't have any data or sample size of Billy trusting Okoro because he hasn't been on the team yet. So I think I'm just trying to say that he'll have to earn that in some capacity, and maybe that happens during training camp and preseason. Maybe it happens later on in the season. But whereas I think after the trade, I thought Okoro would slot right in. I am having some more questions right now. And I can really see the value in like all four of these options. Like Ayo, I think, is the best 3-and-D player. Like he's, I think, the best combination of three-point shooting, transition, and defense. Tre Jones also, I think, falls in that category, but he's just a much smaller player, so it's like a little bit harder to defend, especially when you've got Giddey and Coby out there. But like Huerter's floor spacing, movement shooting, ability to attack closeouts, like he fit really well into what the Bulls are doing, and the Bulls played really well with him in the starting lineup, and he shot the ball really well and totally changed the dimensions of how you have to guard them. So I do think that there's a strong case for all those guys. Unfortunately, they all have like pretty key flaws or limitations in their game that make it more of a discussion than like an easy answer for me.
That's what it comes down to with Billy and the decision he has. What around the four that we all are collectively agreeing right now are going to be 4 of the 5 starters, what do you want more of as that 5th guy? What do you want that 5th member of the starting lineup to bring to the table skills-wise? Do you want to go really small, 3-guard lineup and have Tre Jones out there because you like the way that he can penetrate and be an on-ball creator in a variety of ways? Do you want it to be Ayo, just a solid, sturdy 2-way player? He can bring the ball up the floor at times. He's absolutely lethal in transition, and we know the Bulls want to get out and play fast like they did last season, play even faster than they did last season. Huerter, because he can shoot, and you're going to get up a lot of threes, just like you did last season as part of your new offensive identity. Or Okoro, because your team desperately needs better perimeter defending, because they got hosed on the perimeter last season. Those are the options Billy has to weigh.